10 o'clock, welcome in. We are live at Social Taco here in Homewood, right next to City Hall in the square. We're going to broadcast until 2 o'clock. Landrum Roberts, Pat Smith, Motley Robinson, and Conrad Van Order. Hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday. Let's go ahead and address the white elephant in the room that is United States men's national team. Last night, falling to Belgium 4-1, and it felt like to me, just as a fan, a viewer, Pat, that this one was over right about the time that it got started. Under the 10-minute mark, we didn't look like we were engaged. Everybody seemed to play below the level they've been playing. I realize Belgium is a better team, but costly mistakes, defensive miscues, and Belgium punched us in the mouth, and we never got up.
Yeah, the first 45, it was just sloppy. It was unfocused. They were defensive. They weren't taking the fight to Belgium, in my opinion. The U.S. allowed 11 shots in the first half against Belgium. They allowed a total of 10 shots in the first half against everybody else in the World Cup. And then you gave up 11 shots in the first half in one game to Belgium. So, to me, it's just like Belgium, they set the tone, and they took it to us. And then I really thought when Tillman got the penalty kick.
Yeah.
But what were we up? It was number of seconds, right?
Yeah, it was
before Belgium came back and took
61.
the lead for good.
The
61
instant
seconds,
answer score, so it took the Seattle crowd, mitigated what that crowd was, and could have been there early with the energy. But look, I'm still proud of this United States men's national team. They fell short of maybe where we hoped that they would be, but bottom line is we've been saying it since I was a kid. We got to keep pushing forward and trying to get better, and maybe we can get further next time.
Well, it's disappointing. I mean, it's a major missed opportunity with all the circumstances that were in your favor. This was an unprecedented opportunity for the U.S. men's national team, for these American players, and for the sport in our country, and they squandered it. They flunked the biggest test of their life last night in a discussion. And like you, I've heard this for the majority of my life, how soccer is about to turn the corner, we're going to get over the hump, and it just didn't happen. And the way that it happened last night, I think that was more shocking. If they would have lost 2-1, I think a lot of people would have walked away going, you know what, this last month has been magical, it's been incredible, you know what, the future looks really bright. But now, being on that stage against a top 10 team, we're not talking about one of the top 4, we're talking about number 9 in the FIFA rankings, and go and you throw up on yourself like that, highly disappointing.
Yeah, it looked like we didn't believe that we belonged. And you wonder about the psychology going into this game or this match yesterday with all of the flow talk. And is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Belgium, if they didn't already have enough incentive, they certainly had incentive last night, and they were playing like they wanted to come out and they wanted to make a point. And you saw that in some of the post-game celebrations. That was on their mind the entire 90-plus minutes.
You know, and I think it was just the opposite for the United States. I don't think Balogun being available for Team USA, I think Team USA had been preparing the whole time that he wasn't going to play.
Right.
And so when he was awarded the opportunity to play, I think the Americans took it in stride because they had prepared not to have him. But meanwhile, Belgium took the opportunity to do the Trump dance and take to social media and all that kind of stuff. I want to remind Belgium that if it was not for us, they'd be speaking German all the time if it had not been for us in World War II. So tread lightly on how you want to attack the United States. Just do not forget that, being a student of history, of how important the U.S. Airborne was to help freeing that country from the Nazis. Just wanted to point that out.
No, I'm glad you did. That's really good.
Yeah,
Belgium, enjoy your win.
Yeah.
You get what, Spain next?
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Have fun with Spain.
Yeah. So, another disappointing round of 16 for the U.S. men's national team. But I do have good news, and this is the good news. We are 351 days away from the Women's World Cup in Brazil.
Hey.
And a reminder that the United States, we have won four Women's World Cup championships.
Is that Dansby's wife? Is she a part of the team still?
I don't know.
Okay.
She was a very valuable member of that team last time I watched the women's team. But, yeah, we're 351 days away. It will be in Brazil, and it will be over June and July. So it will be before football season next. So we'll get to
USWNT. Yeah, Mallory Swanson. She is on the team.
She's on the roster.
Yeah.
351. We're going to start that clock.
Mm-hmm.
Send it to Boy Sky.
But needless to say, folks have taken the opportunity, whether it was the New York Post, their headline this morning was Uncle Scram, U.S. given boot by Belgium in the ugly end to Cup. That was their headline. L.A. Times, they had a headline, Trump's World Cup meddling only made matters worse for rattled U.S. squad.
So now it's his fault.
The Philadelphia Inquirer, the United States men's national team lived down to Donald Trump's expectations. They played like the losers he thought they were. Wall Street Journal, Donald Trump, World Cup referee. London Telegraph, Trump and Infantino have poisoned a wonderful World Cup. So there's a couple of the headlines from around the world in regards to the U.S. losing last night and taking an opportunity to slam Donald Trump.
Well, it all goes back to we need better officiating, and none of this happens. So get it right the first time, guys.
Well, if the SEC officiating headquarters in downtown Birmingham would have been in charge of the FIFA,
none of this happens.
No, we would not have had that. So Mike Griffith joins us now from the AJC. Mike, I guess we can put away our United States men's national team paraphernalia, I guess, for another 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. There's still a lot of good soccer to be played, but it's kind of a disappointing run, but that's how soccer goes. All it takes is one bad game and you're out.
We were talking about it yesterday on the show, and real quick before we get into it, United States women's team, that would be the equivalent to like Oklahoma softball or name another champion that has built a dynasty. I think now U.S. men's soccer, if I was going to have the college football equivalent, I think it would be Texas A&M.
Wow.
Do you guys agree with that?
That's a lot. I don't know. I mean, I watch England and I see all those Premier League players, and the best athletes play soccer in other countries and other continents, and that's just not the case in the U.S. I mean, just imagine if you were going to put together a dream team of athletes from the U.S. from all the professional sport. I mean, can you imagine like LeBron James in his prime playing soccer? If he was, if that was where the money was at. Actually, if you look at soccer salaries, they do make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone wants to make a lot of money, they just not in the United States. So it's interesting. Not to say that I don't think they had good enough athletes to win, but I just, I just compare it to England and I see how many professional players they have. They're playing in the Premier Leagues, if not the Premier League. And it just looks kind of like a mismatch, right? Like you're seeing like the equivalent of minor league players compared to some of the other countries you're playing against.
Well, it's interesting, Mike, because FIFA had the United States ranked 16th in the world, and they got to the final 16 before they got bounced out. So at least, unlike the college football playoff rankings, it looks like FIFA does a pretty good job with their rankings.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know how that whole deal was seeded. I don't know enough about, global soccer, to say. I didn't, I thought the U.S. team, obviously they, had a strong run, but I don't know, just watching it just didn't look like the same level of soccer that I saw from some of the other. I mean, I just compared it to England, right? I mean, if you just watched England play and you saw how much talent they have and just wave after wave of professional player going in there, wearing out opponents, it just felt like that was a different level of soccer to me. Do you guys think I'm wrong about that, or am I missing something, or are my eyes telling me the truth there?
No, you're seeing the same thing we're seeing.
No, and last night it was really magnified with Belgium and just things as a novice soccer fan that I was able to pick up. Just things looked really, really easy for them when they were passing and they were getting in the flow of their offense, as opposed to the United States where they looked like it gave them a lot of trouble at times.
Yeah, it's tough, So, I don't want to diss, the U.S. team or anything like that. It is what it is. Like you guys said, they got to the round of 16, and it's just not a priority sport for us at the professional level in this country, or even the collegiate level. I guess if the SEC gets serious about soccer, we'll know. Maybe that's what we need to have happen, right? Maybe that needs to be the next push. We've seen Greg Sankey get serious about basketball and baseball and softball. certainly college football. Maybe soccer is the next great push from the SEC. I don't know. I don't know what the TV people will pay for that, but that'll probably decide. It depends on how much they're willing to pay.
Mike Griffith joins us from the AJC, DawgNation.com. So we're less than 2 weeks away from Tampa being the host of the SEC Football Media Days. But I want to ask you about what's going on in Frisco, Texas today. In a matter of minutes, Brett Yormark is going to step behind the podium and give his State of the Conference address for the Big 12. How do you anticipate, just a little prediction for you, because you've been to, my goodness gracious, probably over 30 SEC media days. You've seen, you're a veteran of this. How do you think the media will treat Brett Yormark? Do you think there will be some serious questions in regards to the Sorsby mess and their relationship with Texas Tech, the Protect College Sports Act? How do you think the next 30 to 45 minutes is going to go for Brett Yormark?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are saying my fears out loud. If I never hear Brendan Sorsby's name again, that'll be fine with me. I mean, the case is done. The guy gambled. He's out. It's just, I don't know how much more we need to say about it. It's unfortunate. I hope he gets help. As far as playing in the NFL, that's for the NFL to decide at a later date and time. To me, it's out of college football. I don't want to hear any more about it. I know all about, the conference rising up and, pretty much marching him out. So do we really need to go over that again? I don't think so. As far as the bill, I mean, we know Alabama State, is taking its approach to say they don't want this. The SEC has said they don't want this. I'm not sure how many more people need to say they don't want this. Just kind of like that's another deal where you're just like, this isn't hard. Can we just have some common sense here? This bill needs to be redone or it needs to come to an end. But we're talking about a dead issue, wasting our breath, wasting our time when we don't have time to waste. College football playoff, Yormark can say whatever he wants. It's in the SEC's hands along with the Big Ten. It's always interesting to get some color, candor comments. If there's been some movement in the NIL platform, that would be great. Sometimes, who knows, maybe we'll hear a little bit more from the College Sports Commission at these media days. Maybe they'll we got to visit with them a little bit in Destin. I thought that was really helpful. But a lot of these issues, guys, I kind of feel like we've driven into the ground. At least I know I have. I've written about them. I've talked about them. It's time for change. There's nothing more to be said. It's either, you either make the changes or you don't. But I think everybody's tired of hearing the talk. I think people are ready for action. And so, my hope is that they'll talk some college football and get some fans excited about the programs down there and, how the Big 12 could maybe be more competitive. I think we're still waiting. Are we still? No, they did. Did they win a playoff game? Have they won a playoff game? Did Texas Tech win a playoff? I'm trying to remember. Have they won a playoff game yet?
No. Matter of fact, Alabama scored more points against Indiana than Texas Tech did in the whole college football playoff last year.
Yeah, I mean, so this is like how many years of college football? 12 or 13 years of college football playoff, and they don't have a college football playoff win? I mean, I think that's...
Arizona State got really close to winning one of those games a couple of years ago. Remember that was the whole. There you go. Yeah, that was the whole. Yeah.
That Arizona State, that's a real program. We really associate with the Big 12 there. That's pretty.
That's right. Hanging out with our friend Mike Griffith, who joins us as all of our guests do on the Higginbotham Hotline. We'll talk about football, seeing some of the latest publications coming out with their pick for who's going to be in the college football playoff, who's going to be playing in the championship game. I'm seeing Georgia in several of these. What should the expectations be for Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs this season?
Yeah, I just want to point out Arizona State lost to Mississippi State last year too. By the way, put these things into
that was a road game, Mike. Yeah, it was a tough road game.
Oh yeah, well Starkville, hold your breath. I would say, look, everybody knows that of late the SEC championship has gone through Georgia. I mean, 7 of the last 8 years I think Georgia's played in that game, and they've won back-to-back, which hadn't been done in a minute. They're going to be really good on defense. They've got a good offensive line. They don't necessarily have some of the most dynamic receivers and running backs, though, and that's the question. And, Gunnar Stockton, he's a solid quarterback. I think he's good enough to win with, but I don't know that he can necessarily put the team on his shoulders. So a lot of this comes down to not much margin for error. Once again, it seems like every year it's like that with Georgia. They don't have much margin for error, a lot of close games. But the defense is going to be pretty doggone good. And so, it's going to be an offense that's probably going to be careful, be calculated. Look a little bit like those Gene Stallings Alabama teams of the early 90s, you'd go, oh, my goodness, these guys, the offenses, well, they don't need offense. You can't cross the 50-yard line on them. And I kind of feel like that's what this Georgia team looks like to me. They've got a favorable schedule, I think, the way they kind of ease into the season. They do have a road trip at Arkansas. That's their first SEC game. And then they come home to play what I think is going to be a pretty salty Oklahoma team, right? So I think we'll find out more when they play the Oklahoma Sooners at Sanford Stadium.
Mike, in regards to the transfer portal, obviously we're covering Alabama and Auburn on a daily basis, and we know that Alabama had some misses in the transfer portal. Was there a couple of guys that maybe internally Georgia felt like, you know what, we got a really good shot at getting this guy to kind of help out our roster supplement? Is there anyone in particular that comes to the top of your mind that maybe just a position group that Georgia probably needed a little bit more help out of the transfer portal and they just didn't get it?
Well, I mean, you guys know they got Amaris Williams from Auburn, and he got injured. That was
right.
That it qualifies. I don't know if I'd call it a miss. I'd just say it's unfortunate for the kid and the program. But you wanted to get that pass rush guy. But no, I don't think so. Not really. Not that we know of, at least. A lot of these deals you don't find out about till afterward that they fell through. Like we never understood why Stetson Bennett came on TV the day after they won the national championship game and was talking about maybe not being back, right? You guys remember that whole scenario?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we were like, what the heck was that? Well, it turned out that Georgia was trying to get Caleb Williams. And Stetson thought he might be done, that Caleb Williams might be coming to Georgia, but instead USC won that bidding war. So that turned out, that was like, oh, okay, now we know the rest of the story, right? And then just a couple of years ago, you find out, well, we kind of knew there was this guy from Cal Georgia was interested in. Little did we know how good Fernando Mendoza was, but Georgia sure did know. But Indiana won that battle. So that would have kind of been a big deal if they would have got Fernando Mendoza last year. Maybe Georgia would have won the national championship. I dare say Kurt Signetti would not have. So, you never really know, who they're in the mix for. I think Isaiah Kenyon was the receiver they got out of Georgia Tech. You guys know all about Isaiah Kenyon? No? Neither did I, right? So that's their impact player, a guy from Georgia Tech that you guys don't know about.
No.
I watched the Georgia Tech game, and I wasn't thinking, oh, man, there's that Isaiah Kenyon.
I remember hey, listen, I remember Singleton before he came.
Yeah, you remember Eric Singleton.
Yeah, when Singleton went to Auburn. I remember, what he did against Georgia in that crazy overtime game.
Yeah, well, so, when you think about it, now, they got, they did a pretty good job, I thought, a couple years ago getting the running back out of Florida. I thought he was an impact player, scored like 5 touchdowns against Texas. That was pretty good. But, Kirby, they really don't go necessarily for the super flashy guys. I mean, they recruit really good guys, and they develop in them, and they like to keep their best guys. And so it's really more, plug-in positions. I don't know if Georgia can keep doing it that way, right? I think that a transfer quarterback maybe next year could be a thing. That could be, and we know they tried to get him again. Caleb Williams and Fernando Mendoza. Georgia's gone after those guys. Weren't able to get him. I think next year they got to get one. I don't know that they have a difference-making quarterback on their team. And, we saw, Trinidad Chambliss was unbelievable against Georgia. If you switch quarterbacks last year, Georgia fans don't want to hear it, but, Trinidad Chambliss won that battle. And I dare say you change quarterbacks, maybe Trinidad Chambliss could have led Georgia to a national title. So I think the quarterback development and the way Georgia's gone about the quarterback position, I wonder how that will work in the future. And then just as far as dynamic playmakers, George Pickens was unbelievable. Ladd McConkey was unbelievable. Brock Bowers was unbelievable. They got guys now, I don't know, how unbelievable any of them are. It's pretty believable. Like, I can see this. These guys are, can you name the Georgia receiving corps?
No.
To your point.
Does Nate Frazier roll off your tongue with Herschel Walker and DeAndre Swift and Nick Chubb?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
No, not at all. And this is Georgia. Like, this is your running back. Like, this is RBU, and Nate, and they talk, Nate Frazier. Well, you're the only ones talking, Georgia fans. Ain't nobody outside of Georgia scared of Nate Frazier. They're not, are they?
No.
No, but maybe we should be.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think so. The guys look good in spurts, but look, with that offensive line, come on. You put a future NFL back there, Georgia's role. You put a DeAndre Swift. I mean, heck, James Cook, Kenny McIntyre. Those guys, they made it happen. They've dropped off there, and that could ultimately be what keeps them from winning championships is not having dynamic skill position players like some of the other SEC schools do.
That is Mike Griffith from DawgNation.com. Also follow his work at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Mike, we're almost to the end of talking season. Maybe. We're close. But we always appreciate you joining us on Tuesday, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Thanks, Mike.
It's always great to talk college football.
Take care, Mike. Thank you so much. That is Mike Griffith. Joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Let's got some of the big takeaways. What Mike Griffith just told us.
Nate Frazier is now Herschel Walker.
Nate Frazier is now Herschel
Is that what he's
Walker.
saying? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to put him already. There's going to be that fifth spot on the Mount Rushmore of SEC running backs all time. Nate Frazier. Get ready.
Yes.
And we continue. We're live from Social Taco here in Homewood. 3-man front on a Tuesdays. We roll on.